carnales, esta es la verdad. Si tú eres hombres hispano, negros o indios nativos, tú eres Israel, el pueblo elegido de Dios. Tu madre y tu padre dicen que somos un culto y mantienen su iglesia sin culpa, pero su iglesia es culpable de todo lo que nos están pasando. All right. All right, please be seated. Siéntate. Let's get it on, all right? Wrap it up. Tonight, I'm going to answer all your questions. On top of that, we're going to go over the Super Bowl halftime show, the all life-changing and pivotal Super Bowl halftime show. I'll explain the whole thing to you, give you the Israelite School of UPK's stance on the entire thing. Whenever you're ready, I'll answer your first question, all right?
Conor McCon, we got Florida with a question, sir.
Florida, let's see you, boy, brothers.
Shalom, General. Yahweh Shem Yahushua Barakatah.
All right, what can I do for you?
If I may, General, if you could grace me with a breakdown with in the book of Genesis, chapter 4 and verse 24. I kind of want to get an understanding of the swords, the flaming swords that are going in every direction to keep us out of the promised land.
No problem. I know you're ready, all right?
Yes, sir. The water, sir. The book of Genesis, chapter 4 and verse 24. So he drove out the men. So he drove out the man, and he placed at the east of the Garden of Eden cherubims.
So the men he's speaking about is he drove out Adam and Eve. This is the end of the story of creation. Remember, of course, the Most High made all heaven and earth, made the stars and the moon, and then finally on the seventh day, he recreated man in his own image. He made people over. People were already created on the sixth day. The Most High God decided to take a man and recreate him. Much so is what happened with you and I when we found the truth because of Jesus Christ. We were recreated the same way that was recreated. And the Most High God gave him a woman to help him in his subduing of earth and gave them a place called the Garden so they could rule the world from the garden. You understand, warrior, right?
Sir. Yes, sir.
But then Adam and Eve, of course, they were seduced by the other people who were not recreated, seduced by the other people who were on the planet of Earth at that time, people that had become powerful and mighty and sin against the rules that Adam was given in the Garden of Eden. But Eve, one day, she was seduced by a snake. This snake was actually a person, but this person was a very low character. Why did I say low character? Because that's why he's called a snake, because snakes slither upon their bellies on the ground. They're low down and dirty. That's why that the myth that this was an actual snake, it comes from the Bible calling this person a snake, his very low character. Well, this person seduced Eve, told Eve that she could have the one thing that every wicked woman wants above everything. You know what that thing is, warrior?
It's like, sir, is it to have control over your husband, her husband?
Okay, control over her husband is a part of it.
Right.
It's a part of it. But what she wants above all things is power. Power, which is the same thing as control. Just imagine it wasn't just control over her, control over him. And Hispanic women die in childbirth far more than Africans in sub-Saharan Africa, far more than in America. Same year that Serena Williams, who performed at the halftime show, almost died in childbirth, even though she had the best of health care that anyone could have, whether white or black. And they did a study that same year that said that the reason that black women die so much in childcare, one of the reasons, of course, besides racism, which is the number one reason, but the secondary reason is that Black women have a need of control that they have to have even during pregnancy. They have to be in control. And that sense of control, they refuse to let it go. And so many of them die in childbirth. When you combine that with the white man's racism over us in hospitals, with the Black woman's absolutely insane desire to have control, that was the reason that these scientists said that Black women die. You can go look up the study. You understand?
Yes, sir, I understand.
So then after Satan seduced her into telling her how she could get more power, she can get more power by disobeying God and by learning the things that the other people were learning outside of the garden. That learning was the eating from the other trees, partaking of their culture, learning their customs, observing their customs. Then we could get power from being like them. It's the same thing today when people tell you to compromise and to fit in, to celebrate Christmas and shave your beard because you'll get a better job. That's a small part of what Adam and Eve were faced with. They were living a lifestyle completely separate from the other people who had power. And they knew if they could act more like them, then they could get power. Eve told them that was the better way to get power than to wait for the Most High God to grow this garden for them.
Right.
Bring this garden, make this garden come to fruition for them. Well, Adam listened to his wife Eve, and they began to dress like the other nations, observe their customs, keep their culture. The Most High God was so angry at them, he kicked them out of paradise. He kicked them out of the Garden of Eden. And now you're going to read from where you're at right now. All right?
Sir.
Go ahead.
Come on, sir. Genesis chapter 4, verse 24 in the middle. In a flaming sword, which turned every
I'm sorry,
way.
read from where we started, please.
Yes, sir. Khan. Genesis 4 and 24. So he drove out the man, and he placed at the east of the Garden of Eden cherubims.
A cherubim is an old word for an angel. So he made us get out of the Garden of Eden. What is the Garden of Eden? The Middle East. That's the Garden of Eden, the entire Middle East. Everything. The Gaza Strip is part of the Garden of Eden. Palestine is part of the Garden of Eden. Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, Afghanistan is part of the Garden of Eden. Iraq is part of the Garden of Eden. We were driven out of the Middle East, our homeland. That's the true homeland of Blacks and Hispanics, brother. The Middle East. We're Asiatic. That's the continent that the Middle East, that Israel is on, the Asian continent. That's the continent that we come from. Well, we were driven out of it by an angel. You can only imagine how that might take place. Storms, natural disasters, forest fires, war. The other nation one that did it. You understand?
Yes, sir.
So then after we left, then the Most High posted an angel there with a flaming sword. Why is the sword flaming? So that it could swing that flame and burn every way you could possibly come back. You understand? That's why it's on fire. So imagine trying to run through a vortex of fire. There's just no way to get in. There's no gap. There's no gaps. There's no space because the entire thing is on fire, which means there is no way for us to go back as a people. That's the point. There is no way for us to decide one day, you know what, let's all get plane tickets and go set up the Garden of Eden again. God is going to stop you. You had Demona, Africa that tried that back 70s. People that left Israelite groups out of New York went to Chicago, then went to Demona, Africa to set up the new Garden of Eden, the new land of Goshen. What happened? Disease sent their ass right back to the south side of Chicago. That's what happened. Death and disease. You had fake Israelite groups that periodically try to go back there and set up some old, some nonsensical, I think I'm Elijah in the reincarnation Israelite group. Before you know it, they're fighting for the Israelis in the Israeli military, running into Gaza, getting shot and starving to death and sick, because there is no way for us to go back into the Garden of Eden but one. There's only one way to see Jerusalem, and that's to see New Jerusalem. There's only one way to go back into the land of our rest, and that's to enter into his rest right now. That's to become reborn right now. See, you and I are going to have to do the thing that Adam failed to do. We're going to have to be reborn. We're going to have to do the thing he didn't do. If you want to go back to, if you want heaven, if you want paradise, then do the thing that Adam failed in doing. Be a better man. Be a man that keeps the commandments of God. You got the Christian church telling you that you can have paradise and continue the crime of Adam and Eve. Continue it. Adam and Eve disobeyed God and lost paradise. Do you think you can gain paradise by continuing to disobey God? There's no way you can go back. It's impossible to go back. Jesus Christ is the one who fixed Adam's mistake. He taught us how to be reborn, and then we'll gain the Garden of Eden once again. You understand, Warrior?
Yes, sir. The water, sir.
I appreciate you, Warrior.
Appreciate
Preguntas.
So that flows right into a question that was in the chat.
Mhm.
Officer Ilazai asked Salaki, sir, if I could, can you explain when did people start believing the Adam and Eve were naked and they added apple and they were the first people on earth live?
They started to believe that during the Renaissance, the time that is called by artists and art history the Renaissance, when Roman art began to be beautiful again. They believe that time coincides with an awakening in Europe to be more liberal, to be more kind, and not to lean so much on biblical justice. That during the time of the Renaissance, they made paintings of white people eating apples and snakes wrapped around trees. Now, you might look at this today and think this is stupid until you watch the halftime show. And then you realize that art rules people's lives. Art. You see, Ephraim, idiots can't read. They don't want to read. An idiot hates to read. And I'm not talking about black people. See, black people learn their stupidity from white people. We learned it from them. If it wasn't from white people forcing us not to read, burning the eyes out of our heads because we tried to read, then we just became just like every average white person who hates to read and who is stupid. We became like them. Show me the painting. I believe it was by Renoir. I forget his name, which one it was. It was a famous Renaissance painter. It might have been Raphael, but I'm not sure. He painted the most famous picture of Adam and Eve. And this people would come from all around, and like tourists would come to see this picture that was hanging up in Rome and hanging up in France at the time, during the time of the Renaissance. And they looked at this painting and they said, this is what Adam and Eve look like. This is the apple. Remember, there's nowhere in the Bible where it says that the fruit that they ate was an apple. That's not in the Bible. But because there was a god at that time named Pomona. Pomona was a Roman god, and the symbol for Pomona was the apple. She was a Roman goddess. So when the painter painted the picture, he put an apple in the picture. And he wrapped a snake around the tree, and he made them both naked white people. The fame of this picture and then subsequent pictures after it made everyone believe this is what Adam and Eve looked like. It was an apple. It was an actual snake. It was because of art. And art rules the lives of the simple, of the plebes, of the common folk. Art rules your life. We're born in, you know what I'm referring to, don't you, Ephraim?
Khan, sir.
What am I referring to?
Salaki, sir. I'm trying to pull that painting up.
No, you get the painting. What am I referring to when I said the dirt you were born in? What am I referring to?
The condition we were born in, sir.
You're right, but what am I referring to? I'm referring to Adam, brother, right there. I can always listen to every word. That's how you cut people. Never miss a word out of anyone's mouth, because then you can use their words against them when you battle them. The dirt that you were born in, if you want to rise up out of it, then you're going to have to do something better than the simple do. You're going to have to search for something that's not right in front of your face. Everyone understands. Don't let art rule your life. The reason
everyone in the room said art, sir.
Art. That's why. Art. Some Leonardo da Vinci painted a painting, and it was popular as the Super Bowl is. It was as popular as Jay-Z and Beyonce's albums. It was as popular as the movie Black Panther. It was as popular as Iron Eagle and all of the John Wayne movies. It was so popular. Everyone said, that's what Jesus looks like, because of a piece of artwork. Do not allow art to rule your life, because here's why you can never let art rule your life. Because the artist has a patron. Hear me well. Every artist has a patron. Ephraim can look that up for you to explain. There is no artist that can survive without a man who pays him to make that piece of art. He gets paid for it. They're called patrons of art. The Catholic Church paid Leonardo da Vinci. The Catholic Church paid for these Adam and Eve, and for the apple and the snake. They called Snoop Dogg and Nelly sellouts because they performed at Donald Trump's inauguration. They were sellouts when they made their first song. They were selling out. They were sellouts when they made gangster rap and songs that promote marijuana and drug abuse and threesomes and sin. Right. You better watch yourself. If you think that Snoop Dogg became a sellout when he performed at the inauguration, then what was he when he was teaching your children to get high and to have threesomes and the girls gone wild? Who knows? You know about that, Ephraim?
Come on.
You remember that, don't you? How many of those videos did you have? Snoop Dogg used to have these videos where he was telling everybody to have sex with college white girls, and it was on the Girls Gone Wild. Somebody find that for me too. Snoop Dogg with the Girls Gone Wild. Here's the painting right here. Here's the one the brother asked about. Who painted this up?
This was by like I said, Albert Dürer.
Oh, this is the old one. You're not giving me the original one, but this is a recreation of the original one. I believe this cat is German, but this is a recreation of the original painting. What's the name of it?
Adam and Eve.
Adam and Eve. So this is a recreation, but there were these paintings done during the Renaissance, which is what you want to look up. The Renaissance artwork of Adam and Eve, all right? But I think that's telling the brother he can look it up on his own as well, all right?
Come on, sir.
All right, what else do you have? If you could, all right. Any other questions?
What questions in the room?
Go ahead.
Shalom, General. I would like a breakdown on Ezekiel chapter 28, verse 13. Baba Gashar.
No problem, boy. Let's go ahead and read.
Ezekiel chapter 28, 13. Thou hast been in Eden, the garden of God. Every precious stone was thy covering, the sardius, topaz, and the diamond.
Now, I believe this is speaking about the country that was very rich. Tyre and Zidon. I believe this is speaking about Tyre and Zidon. Tyre and Zidon was a country much like New York is a city, and Chicago and Los Angeles, a city controlled by heathens, but the workers, the backbone of the city were the Israelites, were blacks and Hispanics who lived in that city and made the city prosper. Very similar to every major port city in America. You understand?
Con,
So what it's talking about is how rich they were. The Tyre and Zidon was so rich. They were like the Garden of Eden. They were so rich and prosperous and wealthy. They had everything. They had all the jewels that you could imagine having. That's the point. Did you want me to read more?
I'm to water, sir.
No sweat. Go ahead.
Another question in the room, sir.
Please.
Come.
I'm ready for you up.
Shalom, everyone. Salaki, if I may, sir, I have a question on Deuteronomy 28. Salaki, if I could find it, is about fleeing 7 ways. I'm trying to find the exact verse. Salaki.
I think I'm familiar with what you're speaking about.
I found it. It's Deuteronomy 28 and 25.
Mm-hmm.
And the Most High shall cause thee to be smitten before thine enemies.
Mm-hmm.
Thou shalt go out 1 way against them and flee 7 ways before them.
Mm-hmm.
Shalt be removed in all the kingdoms of the earth.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to know what's the significance of fleeing 7 ways, sir.
No problem. What you want to do is see it first in your mind and tell me what's the significance of 1 way. Then you'll get to 7.
I would say fleeing 1 way would be probably like fleeing 1 direction away from your.
Wait, read it one more time. That's not quite what it says. Go ahead.
Khan. And the Most High shall cause thee to be smitten before thine enemies. Thou shalt go out 1 way against them.
There you go. That's what you need. Thou shalt go out 1 way against them. So what does it mean to go out 1 way against someone?
I'm not too sure, sir.
I'll help you. Let's say we have to fight an army of men, right? They're standing 10 miles straight ahead. What direction are we going in?
Straight ahead.
Straight ahead. What about, will there be 20 other brothers going a different way?
La.
Will there be 50 brothers going another way?
La.
Why not?
Because the enemy is ahead of you, not
in another way. The enemy is ahead of us. We go out against our enemy unified as one. We're not divided. We're not split. We're not running. We're going out against him, which means we are going to fight him as one body, as one people, as one army. But then when we get to the battle, he begins to win. And then we split up and go in 7 different directions. So now what are we? After we start to lose the battle, what do we become then?
broken apart, sir.
Give me the perfect military word. Divided.
Divided.
Divided. That is a curse from God, the division of blacks and Hispanics. And now you know where that division comes from. That division comes from fear of forging ahead. Fear of fighting forward. Because we don't want to fight forward, we split up. So now no, we're going to do it this way. No, we're going to do it that way. No, we don't need to all be in the same camp. You fake Israelites, you have the same thing the Christians have. You're afraid to go forward with Commanding General Yohana because we go in one direction in the UPK. One.
So would that fall in line with 1 Corinthians 12 and 25, where it says that there should be no schism in the body?
That's what I'm talking about, Warren. That's the whole point. That's the point. Now, Most High in Christ. Now you know where these schisms come from. Fear, losing. You start to lose. What happened with the Nation of Islam? Where are they at now? Split up and divided. Why? Because the white man came against them. They came out against the white man unified. Oh, but then the white man and his COINTELPRO and his all of his weapons. Before you know it, the Black Panthers are 57 different groups. Before you know it, Marcus Garvey's movement is 25 different groups, 7 different groups. You understand, Ephraim? 7 different groups. You just split up. You split up because you're scared. You begin to lose the battle. You thought you were going to win, and the minute you begin to lose, now it's time to hate each other. Now it's time to divide from one another. That's a curse from God. Jesus Christ came to correct that curse in us. You understand, Ephraim, right? Solid. Next.
Concert, if I could real quick, shout out to the over 800 people watching live right now. There are not nearly that many likes. And
Get those likes up, man.
get those likes up.
All right, next.
The question in the chat. Shalom, Yahabashim Yahshua Barakatah, Salaki, sir. If I may, with your grace, sir, how would I explain to someone that the Most High is real who doesn't necessarily believe?
So what if they don't believe? Who cares? I don't explain to anyone if they don't believe in God. I let God explain himself to them. I'll give you a few precepts to understand them. Give me that when it says, so what if some do not believe? Give me that. There's another one I would usually go to. Give me the fool have said in his heart that there is no God. Those are the two I would go through to explain them to you. You don't have to explain the existence of God to someone. Let God do it. Let him do it. There's an old saying in the white man's military. There are no atheists in foxholes. None. None at all. Once you're in a life-threatening, terrible situation, oh, you're going to believe in God. I remember when I was very young, and I rolled with the terriblest cats in the world. And they was always, because I'm from Philadelphia, they were always half Muslim. All of them, right? And I go to court cases with them, and they was just, Muslim, real Philadelphia Muslims. And I remember one particular one right before I came in the truth that taught me a lesson. This cat was going up against a murder charge, and he was no, this wasn't murder. This was aggravated assault against a police officer. That's what this was. Aggravated assault against a police officer. So he's Muslim. He's Philly Muslim, and he comes over to my house and he asked my mother. He says, "Miss Betty, could you pray for me?" I remember looking at him going, "I thought you were Muslim." I remember going, he said, "Miss Betty, could you pray for me?" Yeah. I said, "Come on, now you're Christian. Now when it comes time for court, you believe in the God of the Bible now. You can't pray to a rock to get you out of prison. You need a God that does miracles when it's time to go to court." I hear you. It taught me a great lesson. It taught me, one, that Islam does not do miracles. So when you're in bad shape, you can't start banging your head on no rug. You're going to need a God that does miracles. You're going to need a God that raises the dead, that makes the blind see, because your situation is impossible to get out of. Yeah, a person will believe in God. Once danger is all around them, they will face the east, so I can pray to the God of Israel. All of them will do it. Give me the precept I asked for.
Concert. Romans chapter 3, verse 3. For what if some did not believe? Shall their unbelief make the faith of God without effect?
So what if some don't believe? Who cares? Don't believe. What the hell I need you to believe for? Don't. More crowns for us. More crowns for us. We don't need you to believe. Your unbelief will not make the faith that we have in God take no effect. Our faith will still be rewarded, whether you believe or not. No problem. But when you get locked up, you know my number. When your child is in the hospital, you know how to reach me, right? Anything else? Damn right. Priest of War. Continue being a sucker. Any other questions?
Brothers. Yes, but we got the fool say if there's no God.
Go ahead and read that.
Psalms chapter 14, verse 1. To the chief magician, a psalm of David. The fool hath said in his heart, there is no God.
You hear that? The fool has said in his heart, there is no God. The evidence of God is all around you. The evidence of the Creator is his creation. His creation is everywhere. Everywhere and everything, including sitting in your seat, standing in your shoes, is his creation. It's everywhere all around you. To not believe in God, you have to be a fool. All right. Anything else?
Come on, sir. They are corrupt. They have done abominable works.
Oh, here we go. Now we learn the real reason they don't believe in God. They're corrupt, Doc. They're disgusting and vile, and they have done terrible things. That's why they don't want to believe in God, because they know that if there is a creator, they have sinned against him. If there is a God, they have sinned against him. They're hoping is there is no God. That's for damn sure. They're hoping there is no great celestial judge that rules over heaven and earth, because if so, he surely will not like the things that you've done. So what's more accurate to say is you hope there's no God. You hope there's no God. All right. Anything else?
Come on, sir. There is
I think
none.
you're good with this, Doc. Just tell the brother where it is, so I can move on to the next topic. All right. Go ahead.
Psalms chapter 14, verse 1.
Con, sir. We got a question in the chat. Salakia Alawap, can you break down Ecclesiasticus 37 and verse 9 through 12?
I'll try. There's a lot of verses, Doc. I'll try to do what I can. I got to move on, though. Come on.
Khan, Ecclesiasticus chapter 37, verse 9. And say unto thee, thy way is good, and afterward he stand on the other side to see what shall befall thee.
I believe this is about friends. Let's go up above it 2 verses to confirm.
Verse 7. Every counselor extolleth counsel, but there is some that counseleth for himself.
So this is about people that you get advice from, right? People you get advice from. Counselors are different. There's a lot of good counselors that you can find, a lot of people that can give you good advice. But there are some people that counsel for themselves. There are some people that are actually not your friend, but really giving you advice that profits them. Everyone understands. Keep going.
Khan. Verse 8. Beware of a counselor, and know before what need he hath. For he
Beware,
will
be careful when you choose someone to get your advice from. And know before what need he has. A lot of you are suckers to these people on the internet, these Nigerians calling your phones, and you send them money to these people out. I know you're doing it because you're lonely and gullible. And these people are calling you on the phone, telling you there's some beautiful, beautiful woman, so you can marry them and bring them to America and help them out and all of that garbage out. They're lying to you. They're lying to you. They know you're a sucker with money, and they're lying to you. You got to watch out who you get advice from the same way. You get advice from somebody, you get advice from someone, and this person is really trying to use you. So you better know what need they have. You better know if they're really just giving you advice because they need some money. Because they need some money. So their advice is what? Invest in my LLC. Invest in my trucking company. Invest in my business, and it's going to blow up. Bitcoin, exactly. You know, all of their advice really is because they need money. So their advice is what you should do with your money that will help them. So they're going to always say, listen, we're going to set up a trucking company. Oh, this trucking company is going to rival Amazon within 2 years. Put your money in my trucking company. And you'll sit and listen to them thinking that this person is a good counselor, when really this person has need of your money. Everyone understands? All right, go ahead.
Khan. For he will counsel for himself.
He will do what?
For he will counsel for himself.
Or he will do what?
For he will counsel for himself.
That's what happens to you. You counsel for your goddamn self. Or this person will counsel for themselves. So you have to be careful about that. If you're in the Israelite School of UPK, we've given you a system to run through so that you can make sure that no one uses you and gives you counsel simply because they want to take advantage of you. And you got to follow that system. So you're not only going to talk to your camp leader, you're going to talk to the captain above him. You're going to talk to the general above your captain. You're going to keep going up the chain of command until you reach me. And I'm going to tell you, stop being so effing stupid and put your goddamn money in a savings account and shut your mouth and go get a goddamn job, pay your tithes, and shut up. Anything else? Yes, like a scammer. Correct.
Lest he cast the lot upon thee.
Lest he cast the lot upon you, meaning he's trying to win you. Casting lots is rolling dice. So he's trying to win you. He's rolling the dice, taking a big gamble and doing it with your money. Continue.
Verse 9. And say unto thee, thy way is good.
And then he says to you, hey, listen, the way you're going, that's the good way. You should walk that way. It's a good way to walk. Keep going.
And afterward, he stand on the other side.
But as you go to walk, he backs way away from you. He stands on the other side so he can watch and see what happens to you as you walk in that path that he told you to walk in. As you take the risk, as you go out and you lose every effing penny you have, he sits back and looks to see if you will lose your money or not. He's in no danger. She's in no danger. They're just waiting to see whether or not danger actually destroys you in following their advice. Continue.
To see what shall befall thee.
That's what I just said. Go ahead.
Verse 10. Consult not with one that suspecteth thee.
You know what that means? Suspect someone who's suspicious of you. Somebody who doesn't like you and they're suspicious of you. Don't ask them for advice. They're going to harm you. Right? Getting advice with someone, it's your choice who you get advice from. But Lord, you better be careful. You better be careful of it. You can get advice from whoever you want. You can get advice from that Nigerian prince that's talking to you every night, pretending to be a woman, from that member of the IUIC that's pretending to be a girl, giving you all that advice. Hey, listen to him. That's up to you. You're a grown person now. Do whatever you want to do with your money. As long as you pay your tithes, if you want to give all your money to a Nigerian prince, what's left over, that's up to you. As long as you pay your tithes. I, however, would advise against it. Anything else?
And hide thy counsel from such as envy thee.
And hide your advice from someone who's envious of you. Don't give them advice because they once again hate you. So you leave them alone. You don't give them advice. Keep your own counsel above all things. You're going to have to choose what you do. It's up to you. You're going to have to be the one that decides who you listen to. And then you're going to have to be the one who decides what you listen to after that person who you chose gives you advice. In the end, the decision is yours. What I would recommend is acquiring wisdom so that you can make a good choice on all fronts. All right, next topic.
So we got a question in the room.
Mm-hmm.
If I may add one, can I Kashar get a general breakdown of Ecclesiasticus 11 and 25?
Go ahead.
In the day of prosperity, there is a forgetfulness of affliction, and in the day of affliction, there is no more remembrance of prosperity.
Yeah, the Bible is telling you about how when things are good, you forget when they're bad. And when things are bad, you forget when they're good. That's what it's about, Levi. That's how it works. You know, when you're so poor, you totally forget when you were up. So you're so miserable about being poor, and you forget that, hell, last year I was up on my feet. Because if I remembered when I was up, then I would know when I'm down, I'll get back up. But when I'm up, I forget that I used to be down. So when I'm up, I think that I could never go back down. I think I could never be poor again. Well, you've forgotten that you were just down. So you better make sure that you serve God correctly, or else you'll be right down where you were. That's human nature. The Bible is describing human nature. You understand, Levi?
Tawada, sir. I got one more from Officer Sharatazar, if I may, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Well, quick, I don't want Baba Kasha, if I could get a breakdown of this. So, like, if I could get an answer for these following questions, what's going to happen to the animals during World War III? Will they all die? Also, will the Lord restore all the animals that went extinct due to the Edomites?
Well, the Bible says in the book of Psalms that everything, the entire face of the earth, is reincarnated. Everything. The plants that die will come back. The animals that die will come back. The people that die will come back. Everything is coming back because the Lord reneweth the face of the earth. Everything is reincarnated. All right. So the animals, are a lot of them going to die? Hell yeah, a lot of them are going to die. A lot of people are going to die as well. But everyone is coming back through reincarnation. Even the trees that die, the plants, the flowers that burn will come back the same way they come back every year. Right now, you're in the wintertime, are you not? All of the flowers outside are bare and they look totally dry. And the ground is barren. But then soon the springtime will be here, won't it? The springtime will be here, and those flowers will blossom and bloom out of the ground, out of the cold, hard snow. Under that snow, a plant is going to be born in springtime. The Most High reneweth the face of the earth. Everything is coming back. All right. Anything else?
We got another question in the room.
Mm-hmm.
I have a question. There's other camps out there that said what's that word? Real. I don't. I listened to other camps before I came here. Like Jesus, they say, "Oh, reincarnation is not real. It's not in the Bible. It's a lie."
All right. I'm assuming you were like a precept proving that it's true.
Yes, I mean I know it's true, but
Okay.
other camps out there say it's not. But I would like a breakdown.
Yeah, no problem. I'll give it to you right now. Give me the one I referred to. Give me the one in Psalms. Or you can give me John 9:1 also, or you can give me John the Baptist being Elijah. What's the simplest, fastest one? Let me just give you this one in Psalms. Are you familiar, warrior, with John the Baptist being Elijah? You're not familiar with that?
No, sir. No, sir.
Okay, I'll give you one. I'll give you a catch-all one that just catches everything. The Bible says that John the Baptist is Elijah in the reincarnation. That's in the Bible. All right. Also, Jesus Christ is Isaac. That's in the Bible.
Okay.
Okay, that's in the scriptures as well. And he is Solomon. That's also in the Bible. But I'm going to give you one in Psalms that just covers everything. All right.
Okay, sir.
All right. Whenever you're ready, you can read it.
Psalms 104 and verse 30.
Let the young boy read it. Is that what is Psalms 104? I'm not sure that's the one I want. Let me hear it.
Thou sendest forth thy spirit.
That's it. Where you starting from?
Verse 30.
Let me hear 29.
Con, sir. Psalms 104 and verse 29.
Mm-hmm.
Thou hidest thy face. They are troubled. Thou takest away their breath.
Go above it. One more verse.
Verse 28. That thou givest them, they gather. Thou openest thine hand. They are filled
One
with
more verse.
Verse 27. These wait all upon thee, that thou mayest give them their meat in due season. Verse 28. That thou givest them, they gather.
Okay, stop right there. I'll start at 28. All right. Now remember, this is how life works on the earth. This psalm is going to cover the entire scope of existence of humans, plants, and animals, all flora and fauna. All humanity is covered in this precept we're about to read right now. You with me, warrior? The young brother in class.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, please read at 28.
20. Okay. That thou Psalms chapter 4, verse 104, verse 28. That thou givest them, they gather. Thou openest thine hand. They are filled with God.
With good. Stop right there. This is how people eat, right?
Yes.
Yes.
How do we eat every day? How do people survive? They survive because the Most High God gives you food. He lets cows make calves, and he lets chickens make baby chicks, and he makes tomato seeds grow tomatoes. And we're blessed because the Most High God makes it rain. And because it rains, we can have food. We can have water. He gives us this. This is how life works. Our food comes from God. Our water comes from God. He opens his hand and he blesses us. And now we take what he gives us. This is how human beings, plants, and animals live on the earth. You with me, warrior?
Yes, sir.
All right, go ahead. Shalom, warrior. Go ahead.
Thou hidest thy face, they are troubled.
Now hold up, right? Now wait. What else happens in life? Sometimes you have a bad day. Sometimes you get sick.
Yep.
Sometimes he defeats you. Sometimes you have a health problem or some danger happens to you. You know what that is? That's when God hides his face from you. He's not taking care of you now. He's hiding his face from you. And because God is not looking at us to help us, we're troubled. Now we have the troubles like health problems, danger, things that cause us to die. That's something else that happens here on earth. Keep going.
Thou takest away their breath.
Thou does what?
Thou takest away thy breath.
What happens because of that trouble? You die because of that trouble.
I had a situation like that. I had a health scare where I almost literally lost my life.
Break it down for me. Break it down. What happened?
I had an overactive thyroid, and I didn't really have health insurance to pay for it. So I pretty much had to use my brother's health insurance to get into the hospital. Because if I didn't have no health insurance, I pretty much would have been dead. So I had to be hospitalized 3 times in 1 year behind that, and I pretty much had to lie to the hospital, basically saying that I was my brother when I wasn't. I didn't have no health insurance. I almost lost my life, so I had to pretty much change my diet. I wasn't eating right.
So what happened? How did you finally? What happened?
Well, I was basically doing research online to see like how did this happen? Because when I went to the doctor told me, well, stuff like this just happens, and I'm like, well, me having common sense, I know that something like that is not just gonna happen. It had to be something that I had to do with my lifestyle in order for that to happen. So when I went online, I did some research, you know what I'm saying, and come to find out it was foods that I was eating. I was destroying my body. So I changed my diet, and I never had that problem ever again.
Barakatah Yahweh Yahweh. Give him a hand. Well done, brother. Listen, that showed a great deal of courage. You did what you had to do to survive, and I'm proud of you, brother. Well done. Good job, warrior.
Thank you.
Good job. Damn right. All right. Okay. So now we're reading. This person, trouble came, and this person died, which happens all over the planet. Like the brother said, you almost died. Think how many other people do die. Think how many people die every day from health problems. It happens all the time. Well, this is what happens. The Lord gives them trouble. They die. Keep reading.
Okay. They die and return to their dust.
Return to what?
Their dust.
So now we know what happens to that body. That body returns to dust. That body goes into the ground and decays and becomes soil, becomes dirt. The body is gone. So now remember that part you need, because that body that he was living in is not around anymore. The body has become dust. It's dirt. Now keep reading.
30. Should I say it? Say the verse 30. Thou sendest forth thy spirit.
Thou dost what?
Thy sendest forth thy spirit.
Thou dost what?
Thy sendest forth thy spirit.
Do you understand what you're just reading right now, brother? After the man is dead, after the body is turned to dust, then God sends his spirit. After the man is dead, after the body becomes dust, then the Lord sends his spirit, which never dies. God sends his spirit. Go ahead.
They are created.
They are what?
Created.
Wait, when are they created, brother?
I guess.
It's right of you. You just read it. When are they created?
The dust. When they died, right? During the dust.
When they die. Yes. Yes, you give him a hand. It says it right in front of him. When they die, the body is turned to dust. God sends his spirit and they are created. Keep going.
Okay. And thou reneweth.
Thou what? Thou what?
Reneweth.
Thou what?
Reneweth.
What does that re mean on that renew, brother? Do you know?
Renew, basically to be born again, or
give him a hand. Give him a hand. Give him a hand. Yeah, that's reincarnation. It's right in front of you. Thou renewest. Renew, because they were already created and then they died and their bodies were turned to dust. God sent his spirit and renewed, keep going,
the face of the earth.
Everything on the planet Earth. Everything. Reincarnation is right there in front of you. I don't know how anyone could challenge the UPK on this. I don't know how you could say it means something else. It's right there. The GOCC, I never even heard of them. Who in the hell is the GOCC? That's a lot of acronyms. Y'all niggas know y'all got acronyms from us, right? Everything you do is about copying the ISUPK. So because we're the UPK, you got to be the GOCC, the IUC, the IUIC, the GCCD. You gotta even steal acronyms from One West. Why you got to be an acronym too? Go ahead, brother. Raise your hand. Go ahead. The brother had his hand up.
I was actually going to join them because this is my first time here and experiencing.
Oh, give him a hand. Give Most High in Christ. Glad to have you, warrior. Glad to have you. Go ahead. What do you want to say?
Yeah, first day, I was actually going to join them, but I couldn't see myself congregating with heathens. Can't see that.
Yeah, neither could I. Neither could I. Well said. Give him a hand. Yeah. Most High in Christ. All right, warrior. Well done. I believe you chose wisely. All right, next. Próximo preguntas.
Kind of quick shout out to the zones that's here with us.
Oh,
Got
come
Trinidad.
on, Trinidad. I see you, Trinidad. Give Trinidad a hand. Dallas, Texas. Give Dallas a hand. I see you, Dallas. Give who is Milwaukee? Give Milwaukee a hand. Florida. I see you, Florida. Can Christians smoke weed? What? That's Atlanta, right? Give Atlanta the Brave a hand. I see you, warrior.
Yeah, Montreal.
Give Montreal a hand. Chi-Town. My town, Chi-Town. Give them a hand.
Montreal has a question, sir.
Montreal, you're up.
Shalom, so y'all watching Shabbat. Salaki General, if I may, just get a quick breakdown on Revelations chapter 19, verse 12 of Gushad one.
No problem, Mark. Go ahead and read it, please.
Revelation chapter 19, verse 12 says, his eyes were as a flame of fire, and on his head were many crowns, and he had a name written that no man knew but he
Let me
himself.
just break this whole thing down.
Kawakai, it's really about the name that no man knew, Adawan.
I got you. To understand that, you need to go to the book of John. I'll give you the precept. Let me see. Stand by. I know it's in the book of John. I'll find it for you in 1 second. Okay, Montreal. Let me see John 21 and 25. Hold up. This might be it. Read John 21 and 25. You're going to read that for what it means when it says he had a name written that no man knew. Also, you're going to need this precept. I might give you this one first. Write that one down, Montreal, okay?
Sir.
I would go to Matthew 8 and 4, Luke 5 and 14. Let's start with those first, Montreal. Now, okay, fake Israelite groups read this precept you just read, and they say that nobody knows the actual name of Jesus Christ or God. That's what the Purple Pigs say today. I'm sure there are other fake Israelite groups and little nutty little Christian groups that say no one knows God's name. So, Montreal, what do you think they call him since no one knows his name? What do you think they say?
So, like, I don't listen to Christian Israelites.
I'll tell you, they just say this. They just use the same names that Christians use. Since no one knows his name, they just all call him Jehovah or God the same way every Christian does. And so, because they believe that no one knows his actual name, so they think it's okay just to call him the same things that the Christians call him, which is really the point anyway. Just to do the same thing that Christians do. This does not mean that no one knows his name. The Most High God gave Moses his name in the Old Testament. God did it. Moses came to him and asked, tell me your name. The people will want to know your name. The Most High God told him his name. He was angry with them because they should have believed on him based on his reputation alone. They should have believed in him. Then through God's mercy, he said, tell him, man, his name is Jehovah. Jehovah in the Hebrew is Yahweh. That's God's name. Now, Jesus Christ also had a name which no man knew. That, however, though, is not talking about his name like you write on your birth certificate, you idiot. Your name in the Bible is your reputation, Montreal. That's your name. If you tell someone, you giving me a bad name. What do you mean by that, Montreal? Do you mean they're changing your name on your birth certificate? What do you mean? If I say you giving this brother a bad name, does that mean you changed his name on his birth certificate, Montreal? If I say that brother got a good name around here, does that mean that the name on his birth certificate is a nice, pretty name? Is that what I mean? So what do I mean if I say he has a good name or he has a bad name, Montreal?
So, like, it's synonymous with, like you said, I don't want reputation.
That's what name means in the Bible. Reputation. My name is on the line. My name is on this. These children have my name. These brothers have my name, meaning my reputation is at stake when I take this action or do this thing. I'll prove it to you in the Bible, like all the time, like always. All right? Give me the precept I asked you to pull just now, okay?
Sir. This is the book of Matthew, chapter 8, verse 4. Mm-hmm. And Jesus said unto him, see thou tell no man, but go thy way.
I'm sorry, read above it. Read what we're talking about, please.
So like the other one. Matthew chapter 8, verse 3. And Jesus put forth his hand and touched him, saying, I will be thou clean. And immediately his leprosy was cleansed.
This is a leper. This is a leper that Jesus Christ healed. Leprosy is when your skin turns white. Jesus Christ stretched forth his hand at his brother, and immediately his leprosy was gone. Keep going.
Verse 4. And Jesus said unto him, see thou tell no man, but go thy way, shew thyself to the priests, and offer the gift that Moses commanded for a testimony unto them.
General Hazael, give me some precepts. Hold on. Throw out a Haz. Okay, I think General Haas is giving me reincarnation precepts for the brother. Here's a reincarnation precept. Ecclesiastes 1 and 9. That's excellent. Ecclesiastes 6 and 10. Philippians 2 and 9. And he's giving me the flame of fire precept, Revelations 19 and 12. Someone write those down, all right? Those are from General Hazayan. He has excellent. His precept book is outstanding. General Hazayan's precept book is just amazing. So if I was you, I'd write those precepts down. All right. So now you see that right there, brother. He said, tell no man. Guess what this leper did? He went to the city and told everybody. And that's the reason that we know about this incident. If he would have obeyed Jesus Christ, we wouldn't even know about this. We wouldn't even have heard about it. But this man disobeyed Jesus Christ. Also notice how Jesus Christ told him to go into the city and to the priest and give the gift that Moses said to give. What else does that tell you about Jesus Christ, Montreal?
Salak Yada one. How could I say? He were referring to the Old Testament, other one.
And what was he teaching that brother to do right there when he said, don't tell anybody that I healed you, but go into the priest and make the sacrifice that Moses said to make when God does something for you. That means Jesus Christ kept the law.
Kawakan, sir.
He kept the law. It's right in front of you. He didn't break the law. He kept it. He said, go into the temple, brother, and give the gift that a man must give when God performs a good work for him. Jesus Christ kept the law, and he was humble. He didn't want anybody to know that he healed this man. Give me the other precept.
Kawakan, sir. This is the book of Luke, Salakia. Luke chapter 5, verse 14, out of one.
Mm-hmm.
And he charged them to tell no man.
We'll read above it to see what he did.
Kawakan, sir. Luke chapter 5, verse 13. And he put forth his hand and touched him, saying, I will be thou clean. And immediately the leprosy departed from him.
This is another account, the same account. He told the man, go do it, and don't tell anyone that I did it. Don't tell anyone. Now give me the one in John.
Karawakan, sir. This is the book of John, chapter 21, Salakia. John chapter 21, verse 25. And there also, Salakia, and there are also many other things which Jesus did, the which, if they should be written, every one, I suppose that even the world itself cannot contain the books that should be written.
What does that mean, Montreal?
So I got one. He did too much miracles just to be in the records that we have right now. I don't want that.
Brother, the records that we have of the miracles of Jesus Christ do not scratch the surface of the miracles he did.
Kawakan, sir.
He did so many. And he would tell people what when he would do them?
To not tell no man, I don't want.
Don't tell anybody. He didn't want anybody to know about it. And because he didn't want anyone to know about it, he has a reputation that no one knows.
Karawakan, sir.
You understand?
Karawakan.
Gracias.
Próximo, preguntas.
Khan, sir. Brother in the chat says, Shalom, let the general know his Spanish is improving every week.
Gracias. 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 Estoy aprendiendo para ti. Estoy aprendiendo para ti. Estoy aprendiendo español para ti. Para ti. Gracias. All right, let's go.
Khan, so there's another brother in the chat that, you know, might mean well. He might just need some correcting. He said,
okay, I can help him with that.
He said, Happy New Moon, General Muhammad.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, GAV. I appreciate you. The moon is the same old moon to me every day, so I don't even know what you're talking about. But listen, I understand you mean well. The moon is all the same to me. I damn near don't even look up. I don't know when the last time I looked up. Them drones could have been over my head. I don't think I would have noticed, Ephraim. I don't know when I look up. When's the last time I looked up? I don't know. I gotta look straight ahead of me. These niggas coming to get me. I gotta look straight ahead. You know, I don't got no time. But GAV, listen, a lot of y'all living with y'all head in the clouds. Listen, thank you. If it's the new moon, I appreciate you, brother. All right, gracias. Anything else?
Young man Raphael asks, are there Israelites in Guinea, West Africa?
There are Israelites everywhere, young man Raphael, everywhere throughout the four corners of the earth. But they're not the real people of Guinea, West Africa. The Guineas, West Africans are heathens, and they can never come into this school. But there are Israelites that live in France. Maybe their father was in the white man's military, and they went and got a Guinea, West African pregnant or a French woman pregnant. There are black people in Alaska. What's that brother in Alaska that went and got everybody pregnant in Alaska? I forget his name.
Salaki, I thought you was about to shout out the ISUBK brother in Alaska.
Give him a hand. I'm sure he put some work in down there when he was in the world. When he was in the world. Brothers in the world, remember, you are what your father is. So if an Israelite goes to another country, and if in their ignorance, if they have sex with the women of that country, those children are the children of God. They have the seed of the Israelites. And so you got Israelites in every country out, but the true people of that country are heathens and can never come into this school ever. We got a brother right now from the tribe of Judah. Where is he at in Africa, that officer down there? I want to say he's in South Africa. Is that right?
Cape Town, sir.
Cape Town, South Africa. He is not African. His family moved to that country years ago, and he's been raised there his whole life. But he is not an African at all. But his family moved from America and now they live down there in Cape Town, South Africa, and he grew up in Cape Town, South Africa. But he's not an African. Real Africans can never come into this school. Don't even try. If you're a real African, you can join the Christian church like you've been joining them, but you cannot join the UPK. All right. Anything else?
No, so we got another question in the room.
Oh yeah, I have a question. This camp out there that preaches all nations can be saved and they can be grafted in. Now I know that's ridiculous, but I would like for you to, edify me.
No problem. The grafted in precept they're speaking about is from the wild olive branch, right? The grafted in is speaking about the nation of Israel that is made up of two different trees, blacks and Hispanics, or the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom. These two kingdoms were separated through warfare and curses. And so at one time, there was only the southern kingdom, the tribe of Judah. The Most High God said that he would graft in the wild olive tree. He would join it with the olive tree that the farmer owned. And that tree would now grow a brand new tree. The grafted in is speaking about the northern kingdom who is separate from the southern kingdom. Give me Ezekiel 37, where it's two nations and now they'll become one in my hand. The metaphor they're using is a farming metaphor. I went specifically and researched this, and I did this. I wanted to understand grafting, so I grew a tomato tree, and I took another tomato branch and I grafted it on to my other tomato branch, and that thing stuck. Aishar, you hear me?
Come on, sir.
I took a picture of it. That thing stuck. I taped it. I took two tomato bushes and I cut the branch off of one and I put it on another one. And I taped it. I just used tape, just white tape. And brother, that thing became part of the damn tomato bush and grew big tomatoes. I gave the tomatoes to General Mayak because General Mayak knows about planting. And I did this because I wanted to understand grafting. I wanted to read this precept and understand what it meant. Okay, so the precept I'm using is the 2 olive trees that were one was grafted on another. The term graft means that you take something that is foreign to the plant, you put it on it because it's similar enough. If you keep it close to it or tape it together, they'll fuse together and become one plant or one tree. Give me the one of these in Ezekiel to explain, not the olive tree one, but the one about the 2 nations. Let the brother read it.
Ezekiel.
Yeah, is it all the way in the back? I'm not really sure.
The brothers will help you out. I'll give him a hand. Levi will help you out, warrior. Ephraim right there will help you. Don't worry about it.
Ezekiel, you said Ezekiel 16, right? 37. Okay, Ezekiel 37 and 16. Moreover, thou son of man, take thee one stick and write upon it for Judah and for the children of Israel, his companions.
His companion. Let me break that down for you. So the nation was split into the tribe of Judah and the brothers that were with him, his companions, which was Levi and Benjamin, the people you call today so-called blacks, African Americans, so-called Haitians, and so-called West Indians. That was Judah and his companions. So you got one stick. That's Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. Keep going.
Then take another stick and write upon it for Joseph, a stick of Ephraim, and for all the house of Israel, his companions.
Then you got another stick. That's the house of Ephraim, Joseph, which is the so-called Puerto Ricans, and all the tribes of Israel that are with him, which is every Hispanic tribe, every so-called North American Indian tribe, Reuben Indian, that they were together. So you got 2 sticks. 2 sticks. Keep going.
Verse 7 and verse 17, sorry. And join them one to another.
Read that again.
And join them one to another.
Read it again.
And join them one to another.
What is grafting, young warriors? Taking one branch and doing what? Come on.
Bringing it together.
Give him a hand. Joining them one to another. One to another. One to another. This is who was grafted in. The tribe of Judah was joined with the houses of Ephraim and the Hispanics. Black people were joined together with Hispanics. We were grafted together. No one else. We were joined together. No one else. Continue.
And they shall become one in
They shall become what?
One in
They shall become what?
One in
See, they were 2. They were 2. But then they got grafted together. Now they're one. They shall become one. Go ahead.
In thine hand.
In thy hand.
In thine
Keep going.
hand. Verse 18. And when the children of thy people shall speak unto thee, saying, wilt thou not shew us what thou meanest by these?
So then he was going to tell the people, well, what do you mean by joining together blacks and Hispanics? What are you doing that for? What does this mean? And then later on, right as you read down, he's going to tell them that they're one nation. Keep going. I'll read the rest of it for you. Go ahead.
Verse 19. Say unto them, thus saith the Lord God, behold, I will take the stick of Joseph, which is in the hand of Ephraim, and the tribes of Israel, his follows, and will put them with him, even with the stick of Judah.
You understand, warrior? That's who's grafted together. That's who's joined together. You see, without this, we would be a divided house. we'd be a divided nation. Right now, the Hispanics are under attack from some demon in the White House called Donald Trump. In the past, the so-called North American Indians were under attack from a demon in the White House called Abraham Lincoln. And he was killing the so-called North American Indians, killing them, taking their land. He was destroying them. Then in times past, the tribe of Judah was being killed by who? Give me Andrew Jackson. Andrew Jackson was a president. Ronald Reagan was a president who was destroying the tribe of Judah. We've always, each one of us has had our turn at being attacked by the governments of this world. All of us. Forget about the governments over there in Haiti, the governments in the West Indian Islands. All of us have had our turn at being the focus of our enemy's aggression. But what God is saying is that if we band together, if we cuando nos unimos, pero nuestros adversarios caerán. Cuando nos unimos, but when we unite, nuestros adversarios caerán, our adversaries will fall. They'll fall. When we come together. This precept is about when we come together, when we unify. We unify with Hispanics if you're from the tribe of Judah. If you're a Hispanic, you unify with the Haitians, with the West Indians. That's who we're grafted together with. Everyone else is a dog outside of the court. Everyone else is a dog outside of our gates. Everyone understands. Gracias. Lo entiendes. Lo entiendes. All right. Let's get it on. Next.
Sir, Chicago has a question.
Chi-Town, you're up.
Hey, shalom, sir. Yabashim
Shabakatah.
We actually have a couple questions, sir. One, a brother wanted to know, if we may, sir.
Please.
One brother wanted to know in 1 Corinthians chapter 1, verse 16 through 17, he says, Salakia General, if I could, did Paul use John's baptism when he baptized Stephen's household? And what did he mean by Christ didn't send him to baptize?
All right, let's read it.
Sir, one moment.
You let me know we can get into the topic, all right?
I don't want Go
ahead.
Sir, this is 1 Corinthians chapter 1. Chapter 1 and verse 16. Sir, should I start at verse 12?
Please.
So 1 Corinthians chapter 1 and verse 12. Now this I say, that every one of you saith, I am of Paul, and I am of Apollos, and I of Cephas, and I of Christ. 13. Is Christ divided? Was Paul crucified for you, or were ye baptized in the name of Paul? Verse 14. I thank God that I baptized none of you but Crispus and Gaius. 16.
So is that what your question is?
It's in his question is in 16 and 17, sir.
Go ahead.
I just wanted to try to get some context.
No problem. Go ahead.
So like it, sir, 15. Least any should say that I had baptized in my own name. Verse 16.
Baptized in what?
In my own name.
That's what you need to understand the question that you asked right there.
Verse 16. And I baptized also the household of Stephanus. Besides, I know not whether I baptized any other. 17. For Christ sent me not to baptize, but to preach the gospel, not with wisdom of words, lest the cross of Christ should be made of non-effect.
I have to read that one more time.
So like I started once again at 15.
No, just read that last part one more time.
For Christ sent me not to baptize, but to preach the gospel, not with wisdom of words, Least the cross of Christ should be made of non-effect.
That not with wisdom with words is what you're going to need right there to understand. Not with wisdom of words. That's what you need. Go ahead.
Least the cross of Christ should be made of non-effect.
No problem. You want me to break this down for you, or is there something in specific you're looking for?
What the brother was asking, did Paul use John's baptism when
No,
he baptized?
He did not.
Okay.
Paul did not use John's baptism. Paul was absolutely aware that we could no longer baptize with water. Precept. Are you familiar with the precept? Give me only 8 people. You know what I want? 8 people. Only 8 people were saved by water. The disciples baptized with John's baptism for a time, until then they remembered that Jesus Christ said, "You shall baptize with the Holy Spirit." For a time, the disciples, they didn't have the Holy Spirit from the beginning. And when I say they didn't have the Holy Spirit, they did not understand what God was saying from the beginning. They didn't know. Over time, they began to realize what Jesus Christ was actually talking about. So there was a time when the disciples were out baptizing with water, because that was the only baptism anyone understood, because it's in the book of Leviticus. Then they remembered that he saith, "John indeed baptized with water, but you shall baptize with the Holy Spirit." After they remembered, they stopped baptizing with water. Paul already knew. By the time Paul came in the truth, remember, Paul came in the truth years after Peter and them. Peter was old when Paul came into the truth. Historians say that Peter was about 80 when Paul came into the truth. So by the time Paul came in the truth, they knew not to baptize with water anymore. Give me only 8 people were saved with water. That's the one I need from you.
The book of 1 Peter, chapter 3 and verse 20. Salaki, sir. Which sometime were disobedient, when once the long suffering of God waited in the days of Noah, while the ark was preparing, wherein few, that is, 8 souls, were saved by water.
You see, I know a lot of you think that you can be saved by water, but there was a time when people were disobedient to God, and only few people got saved by water. Only a few. If you think you're going to save a nation of people with water, you are foolish, because only a few people have ever been saved by water. There was a time when people were disobedient to God's will. They were, during the time of Noah's Ark, and only a few people have been saved by water. You can't save a nation by water. That's not going to ever work. It didn't work in the time of Noah. That's for goddamn sure. Keep going.
Verse 21. The like figure whereunto even baptism doth also now save us.
The like figure whereunto even baptism doth now save us. Only a few people have ever been saved by water. That water baptism is a like figure to baptism. It's just like it. You understand? Keep going.
Not the putting away of the filth of the flesh.
What does that mean, Chicago? Not the putting away of the filth of the flesh. I'm telling you that the baptism that we do is just like the baptism that was done by water, but only a few people can get saved by that. Only a few people. So what we do is like it, which is why it's called baptism, right, but not the baptism you're thinking about. Not that baptism. Not the baptism of the what? Read it right in front of you again.
Not the putting away of the filth of the flesh.
So our baptism is not the putting away of the filth of the flesh. What is it called? You do this every morning or every night, I hope. What is it called when you put away the filth of your flesh through baptism? Chicago.
Yes, sir. It's taking a bath out of wine.
Give him a hand. Yes, that's taking a bath. That's taking a bath. If after you have sex, you get in the shower. I heard some of you brothers taking 4 or 5 showers a day. All right. That's what I hear. I don't know. but this baptism is not the washing away of the filth of your body. That's not that. That's a bath. That's a bath where you get into the water and now you wash, and now all the dirt and scum and sexual activity is washed off of you. That's not this baptism, though it's called the same thing in the Bible. It's called the same thing, but it's not that one. Keep going.
Khan. But the answer of a good conscience towards God, the Most High.
But the what?
But the answer of a good conscience towards the Most High.
Oh, you can save a lot of people with that, Chicago.
Khan.
You can save a lot of people with that one. The answer of a good conscience towards God. What would give you a good conscience towards God? What would make you not feel terrible every day for how you lived, or feel bad every day for what you've done? Doing good things, doing what's right. Now I can have a good conscience when I go to my God, because I know I've done as he's pleased. I know I've done what he wants. That's the baptism. That's baptism. That's the baptism we're talking about in the New Testament. That's the baptism that Paul was doing. That one. That's the baptism that Peter realized that he had to do, not the other one. Not the one that washes the dirt off your body. Not that. Right. Everyone understands, right?
Khan.
All right, you want me to break something else down?
We have one more question. The brother has a question, sir.
No problem.
Yeah, the water general. I got a sister who was asking about Valentine's Day and the options of sending her kid to school versus not sending her kid to school, and what your thoughts was on that. Just to break it down for the sister. Of course, I know I don't send my kids to school on holidays, but some people want to understand the concept behind it.
Okay. Oh, just so everyone knows, this year I don't want to hear anyone say Valentine's Day. I don't want to hear that, because that's incorrect. It is called Valentine's Day, not Valentine's. We're going to say, in the UPK, we're going to say Valentine's Day. Now, Valentine's Day, it's a judgment call whether or not you want to send your child to school. It's a judgment call. You could send your kid to school. You could not send him to school. You got to decide that on your own. Okay? Some schools, some of your kids, if they take days off, it's going to hurt them academically if they take too many days off. And so you should send your kids to school. Some of your kids, their academics are perfect. They don't have any latenesses or absences. So it's not a big deal if you keep them home. You could do it. You could keep them home then. Every parent just has to decide whether or not you're going to send your child or not. And you should do that based on the academic progress, benefit and benefit that it might do to your child. You just make that determination. Everyone understands. Either one is fine. But if your child goes to school, then you have to have a talk with the teacher to say, my child is not to have any candies or hearts or color any hearts or give out roses or none of that nonsense. So you got to have a talk if you send your kid to school. Also have this talk. I've encountered this. You go tell the teacher, I don't want my child to celebrate Valentine's Day, right? Do you know I've encountered where the teacher will put the child in a closet. Hear me well. Hear me well. This happened. Do you know they have cloakrooms, right? Cloakrooms. There was a time where this teacher put this child. This teacher said, "Well, your parent doesn't want you to celebrate Valentine's Day," so they put a chair in the cloakroom closet and set the girl in a closet. I don't even want to think about it because of what it's going to make. I don't want to think about this anymore. All right. Some teachers will do that. And then you're going to come home and your girl is going to be looking so sad And you'll go, what happened? Well, my teacher said that I can't participate in Valentine's Day, so they set me in a closet while the other kids were laughing and playing. I want to change this topic. All right. So I can certainly understand why you would keep the child home, or I could certainly understand why you'll say, I'm sending my child to school so they can learn the other things that they learn today, but do not ostracize my child. Let my child sit in the room with everybody else. Let my child sit right there. Do not put my child in some room down the hall or put him in the janitor's closet while you go have fun, so my child can hate me and hate the truth because of how you treated him. Some of these teachers, some of these bitches and men that work in these schools, they are such slaves that they will hate your child because your child doesn't celebrate Valentine's Day, because your child doesn't celebrate Christmas. It can happen. So you got to make that decision based on your knowledge of the school, the teachers. I can certainly understand why you would keep them home. You understand? Okay. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Chi-Town. You want to say something?
Yes, Salaki, sir. The brother just he asked me. He said he had a second half of his question.
Go ahead.
Salaki, out of one, if I could.
Please, you may.
He wanted to know in verse 17, what did it mean by Christ didn't send him to baptize? Let me give 17 again.
No problem. Let's go back to it.
Come. Verse 17.
You should read the whole thing now. I do the whole thing you read earlier.
Come. 1 Corinthians chapter 1, starting at verse 15. Least any should say that I had baptized in my own name.
Stop right there. Wait, read above it. One verse.
Verse 14. I thank God that I baptized none of you.
This is what Paul means. The term baptism right here. Now that we know it's not talking about bathing, what he means, baptism is like an initiation. It's joining to someone. So in essence, you brothers in the UPK, you've been baptized into the truth, right? So you came into the truth. You were changed. You were taught. You received a new Hebrew name. You received a new name, a Hebrew name. You received rank. You received the position. You were baptized into One West. You understand? So because you were baptized into One West, you are bound to an oath that you took in this school. You're bound to it. It's an oath that we all took. And now because we took that oath, we are joined to this school by God. So think about it like an oath that you take to do something. You understand? What Paul is saying is he didn't make any of these people take an oath to him. They didn't become his men. They didn't become men in his schools. And he's thankful that he didn't do that. He didn't go into these houses and say, all right, I'm teaching y'all the truth. I'm changing your names. And now you're going to be the school that I have in this city. Now you're going to be my men in this city. He didn't do that with any of them. And he's thankful he didn't do that with any of them, because then people could say that he was causing division. He was taking men from other brothers in the school. I'll give you an example. Let's say you were to go down to Dallas, right? You were to go down to Dallas. You're from Chicago. You send a brother down to Dallas to start teaching on the street. But you don't contact the brothers down there, Yashamar. You don't contact Shadia Allah down there. You just start teaching out on the street of Dallas. And now you go into someone's house and you teach all of them. And now they become members with you. They become members, in essence, of the Chicago UPK camp. Because brothers from Chicago went to Dallas and started to teach on the street. They didn't contact Captain Yashamar. They didn't contact Officer Shadia Allah. So now the men you taught and you changed their names are with ISUPK Chicago. They become Mawaquad's men. You understand? They're not Captain Yashamar's men. They're not Shadia Allah's men. They become Captain Mawaquad's men. And in doing so, you would cause division in the body of Christ, in the UPK. That's what Paul was going through that. There was these other brothers who were out teaching on other men's foundation. They were coming from other cities. They were all in the truth. They would come from another city and teach these men, even though there was men in that city that were assigned to that city. Paul said, I'm thankful I didn't do that here. I didn't come in here. I didn't raise up any brothers. I didn't choose any sisters. I didn't do that, or else I could be accused of causing division in the school. Does everyone understand, or do you not get what I just said?
Oh, come, sir.
Go ahead and read it again.
Come. Least any should say that I had baptized in mine own name.
In my what?
In mine own name.
Now, if you're thinking this is talking about washing with water, how do you wash with water in somebody's name? What is that? What is that talking about? But you can, please.
So, like, sir, would that be talking about, like you said, teaching brothers the truth and the scriptures and raising them up?
And then when they get raised up, who do they serve? Who do they serve under?
They would serve under the him. They would be serving under him who taught them.
Give him a hand. Exactly. They didn't now because you went to Dallas and taught them and raised them up. You would be their commanding officer. You would be the priest they answer to. It wouldn't be Yashamar or Shadyala. It'd be you, because you taught them, you raised them up in your name.
Right.
So then they would not report to Yashamar and Shadyala anymore. You get my point? Paul is saying he's thankful he didn't baptize anybody. He didn't teach anybody, so no one could say that he did it in his own name, that he did it trying to take men from this city that belonged to another brother. You understand? Keep going.
Verse 16. And I baptized also the household of Stephanus.
He baptized that house. He taught them. He taught the brothers in that house. Go ahead. The sisters in that house. Go ahead.
Besides, I know not whether I baptized any other.
Why wouldn't he know who he dunked in water?
Right.
Why wouldn't he know that? Wouldn't you know if you took somebody and got in a tub with him and dunked them in goddamn water? But you might not know who you taught. Just like I don't know who I'm teaching right now. You understand, right? I don't know who's watching this class. I don't know who's in the class. I don't know who I'm teaching, but I damn sure would know who I got soaking wet with in a tub with. I would know that, but I don't know who I teach, because whoever hears it, I taught. You understand? Keep going.
Verse 17. For Christ sent me not to baptize, but to preach the gospel, not with wisdom of words, lest the cross of Christ should be made of none effect.
I didn't come here to join anyone to me. That's not why I came here. I didn't come here to grow the army of Paul, to grow the disciples of Paul. That's not why I'm here. So if I teach you, you can go follow Yashamar and Shadyala or Mawaquad or Tazar Yak. I'm not here to gain more members to me. That's not my intent. I teach somewhere, go follow Mawaquad. That's who you follow. Don't follow me. Follow Mawaquad if you're in Chicago. Follow Yashamar and Shadyala if you're in Dallas. Follow Captain 13,000 Yatazak in Houston. Don't follow me. I didn't come here to baptize anyone to me. Do you understand? That's not why I'm here. If I go out and teach, I'm not trying to join anyone to me. That's not my point. If I was trying to do that, that would make the cross of Christ of no effect. I'm not here simply because I want more people to follow General Mahayaman. I want you to follow Tazar Yak, Mawaquad, Yatazak, Yashamar, blah, blah, blah. Debar Math, follow them. Because why? I believe in the cross of Jesus Christ. I believe in that. And I believe I'm unified with my brothers. I believe in that. Paul is trying to make sure. Why? Because at this time, there was division in the truth, in the school, in the actual school. Some brothers in the school were saying that you had to be a vegetarian. Some brothers in the school were saying that you had to worship angels. Some brothers in the school were saying all kinds of garbage, and Paul had to come against brothers in the school. Why? Because we judge within and without. Commanding General Yohana grew up in that time. The same thing happened. I didn't go through that. Commanding General Yohana grew up in a time where he had to come against brothers in the school, brothers in the truth, who were saying that you should worship some man and call him the Holy Spirit. Commanding General Yohana had to fight in One West. I did not. I didn't go through that. But Paul went through that same thing. You understand?
Wakana.
If you want to read it again, you can, or you can keep reading, do whatever you want to do.
Sir, I think it's just like I said, but to preach the gospel, not with words of wisdom.
Not with what?
Not with words of wisdom.
Not with words of wisdom, meaning he's not there to show how smart he is, to show that he's so effing smart, which is what people do when they want you to follow them. You know, they want to prove that they're smarter than Mawaquad. They're smarter than Yashamar. They're smarter than Yatazak. They're smarter than Captain Talwar. That's not his point. That wasn't why he came to that city, to try to prove that he knew more than the men who God sent to that city as well. Keep going.
Wakan, least the cross of Christ should be made of non-effect.
Because if he did that, then Jesus Christ dying would have been for nothing. For nothing. That's not why he was there. He was there because he wanted to help brothers repent. He wanted to help them change. It was a sincere desire that men should change, not to gain or gobble up power. But it was not so with every brother. You started at the top. Read those names at the top that we read.
Wakan. Now this I say that, verse 12, 1 Corinthians chapter 1, verse 12. Now this I say that every one of you said, I am of Paul, and I of Apollos, and I of Cephas, and I of Christ.
You see that's what they were doing. Somebody was saying, I'm with Paul, I'm with Cephas, I'm with Christ. All three of them were in the truth. All three of them. Paul was in the truth, Cephas was in the truth, and Jesus Christ, was in the truth. But they all thought they were separate from each other. They all thought they were different from one another. Paul is saying that's against Christ. That's against the cross of Christ, to be separate from one another. Like Ephraim said in New York, there should be no schism in the body of Christ. None.
That's right.
None. Everyone understands.
And right, the water out of one.
Water to you up. All right, next.
Sir, one more quick question. This one from Captain Ashaparium. And a quick shout out to everybody watching. They did get those likes up. We now at around 900 likes.
Good job. Good job, Akim and Akwafian.
Captain Ash says, would like a breakdown of Numbers chapter 20 and verse 8, specifically when the Lord told Moses and Aaron to speak to the rock. Was it that they literally had to speak to the rock, or was it to tell the nation what the Lord wanted them to know what was going on?
All right, let me hear
it. So Numbers chapter 20, verse 8. Take the rod and gather thou the assembly together, thou and Aaron thy brother, and speak ye unto the rock before their eyes, and it shall give forth his water, and thou shalt bring forth to them water out of the rock. So thou shalt give the congregation and their beasts drink.
His question was, was it actually speaking to the rock?
Sir, and what was the purpose of speaking to the rock?
The purpose of speaking to the rock was to order a rock to give out water, to order it. And so when water came out that rock, they would know that Moses had power with God. They would know that he absolutely had supernatural power with God, because he told a rock to do something and the rock obeyed. That's the point.
Got out of one, Con.
All right. Anything else?
Sir. You can get into your topic.
Let's get on to it. The water, Ephraim. Give him a hand. Let's get on to the topic tonight. the Super Bowl halftime show. Now, let me give you the Israelite School of UPK's official stance on the Kendrick Lamar Super Bowl halftime show. First of all, everyone out there, you have Facebook posts and you have Instagram and you have YouTube, right? You are allowed to like the halftime show or to dislike it. You can make a post saying anything you want to say about that halftime show. Some of you out there hate it. You think it was terrible because Kendrick Lamar was boring, or he acted. You ain't like Samuel Jackson's character. You can hate it. That is allowed. You're allowed by command in General Yohana to hate it. You can make posts saying that you hate it if you want to. Some of you love it. You think it was great. You think that it was against white supremacy. You think Samuel Jackson's character was highlighting how coons act in America, how sellouts act in America, similar to what he did in the Django Unchained. You can love it. You can make a post hating it or love it or loving it. It's up to you, because it is only art. And art, like beauty, is in the eye of the beholder. Do you understand? You can feel anything. You're free to love Tupac, or you're free to love Biggie Smalls. You're free to love Coca-Cola. You're free to love Pepsi. It means nothing. It's a personal opinion. It's subjective. Someone look up the word subjective. Subjective. Art is subjective. Art is not objective. And so many of you believe that art is objective, and it's not. It's not. There is no painting that has one meaning. There is no song or beautiful portrait that has one meaning. A good artist will never even tell you what their art is saying, so that everyone can interpret it for themselves. That's art. Do you have the word subjective?
Sir.
Go ahead.
Subjective. Adjective. Based on or influenced by personal feelings, tastes, or opinions.
That's art. Art is subjective. You're going to look at something, and based on your personal feelings, your emotions, your taste, you're going to have an opinion of it. Have it. Have it. Make a Facebook post about it. Make an Instagram or TikTok about it. Say whatever you want. The UPK is not divided. It won't matter if this brother in the school hates it and this brother in the school loves it. It's fine. It's art. It's subjective. However, there are things in life that are objective, which is what I'm going to discuss now. I'm going to discuss the things that are objective. Look up the word objective and tell me what that means. Whenever you go to teach a thing, it's a bad habit to teach subjective matters as opposed to objective matters. Objective matters are the things you can teach, you can stand on, the things that you can say, this is true and there is no rival to this. You have the what objective is?
Sir. Objective. Of a person or their judgment, not influenced by personal feelings or opinions, and considering and representing facts.
Not influenced by personal opinions or feelings, but representing fact. That is what the UPK stands on. As opposed to whether you like LeBron James or Michael Jordan, enjoy, young brothers. Enjoy. You like gangster rap as opposed to conscious rap, enjoy. Like whatever you want to like. Make Facebook post about it, Instagram post about it. Do whatever you want to have. The Bible says, let the young men dance. Let them have fun. You're allowed to have fun in the UPK. You want to have some fun, have it. Maybe other brothers will want to join you in having fun, and you can use that to bring them into the truth. All right? What I'm going to speak about now is not fun. It's not subjective, it's objective. And this is the objective view of the Kendrick Lamar's halftime show. White people hate it whenever black people show their face anywhere. White people hated that halftime show, not because of the music, not because they are Drake fans, not because they prefer another genre of music. White people hate whenever Black people or Hispanics show themselves to be seen. To be seen. White people don't want to see you. They can't stand seeing. I'm going to give you some proof right now. What do you have? What do you have for me, Warrior? Right now, if you go online, you're going to see so many white people who hate that halftime show. Let me tell you something else. They've hated any time Black people are visible. Black people are vocal. They hated it when Black people were taking a knee. They hate it when Black people say anything that might make white people notice you. They don't want you to be noticed. They want you to be silent and unseen. You know what sports white people wish they could have Black people in? Horse racing. Horse racing. Horse racing is the sport that white people would prefer for you to take your cues from. They would like to be the owner of the horse, and they want Blacks and Hispanics to be the horse. To be the horse. So now they can cheer. They can say, yes, Seabiscuit. Come on, Seabiscuit. Go, Secretariat, go. Because that horse is simply a representation of the owner. That's what they want. They don't want the horse to have a personality, or the horse to have rights, or the horse to have desires or needs. They want the horse to be owned by the owner. So when the horse runs fast, the owner has won. When the horse wins a race, the owner is the one that gets the trophy. The owner is the one that gets the glory. The horse is simply a tool for the owner to win. That is what sports are supposed to be in America. Sports were never designed for Blacks and Hispanics to get glorified, to get a name, to get honor. That's when, and the minute you start to get glory or honor, there is going to be a backlash in the white community that's going to make them elect someone like Donald Trump. I'll show you. This video is from the 80s, I believe. This is from the 1980s. This is a man. I remember this cat so well. This cat was named Jimmy the Greek. He was famous for giving people bets. He would tell you what to bet on, Jimmy the Greek. And this is what he said at the beginning of the phenomenon of Black coaches. When there began to be one Black coach, and you can imagine, I think right now there's about 8 Black coaches in the NFL. 8. It might be 10 out of 32 teams. Those 8 Black coaches are driving white people crazy. They are vexed day and night because there are 8 Black men who are coaches in the NFL. They can't sleep over it. At this time, there was one. There was one Black quarterback of the Washington Redskins and one Black coach of the Oakland Raiders. And this is what Jimmy the Greek said. Go ahead.
For the Blacks, for the Greeks, the Jews, and for everybody. I mean, let's make it equal for everybody. You know.
And is it equal? What about in sports?
Well, they've got everything. If they take over coaching like everybody wants them to, there's not going to be anything left for the white people. I mean, all the players are Black. I mean, the only thing that the whites control is the coaching jobs. Now, I'm not being derogatory about it, but that's all that's left for them. The Black talent is beautiful. It's great. It's out there. So the only thing left for the whites is a couple coaching jobs.
Yeah, maybe we need to get more Black coaches.
Oh, it's all right with me.
Okay, well,
I'm sure that they'll take over that pretty soon, too.
You hear that, right? Brother, you know how many coaches were in the NFL at that time? One. there was one Black coach. And this is something that I know you don't realize about Black and Hispanic achievement. When Blacks and Hispanics achieve a thing, when you become the first black quarterback, or the first black person to perform at the Super Bowl, or the first black executive, you feel such a sense of achievement, like you have fought your way into white society, and now we are overcoming. But what you don't realize is that when you overcome racism, there are millions of white people that are hateful because they never wanted even one of you to overcome racism. Even one of you. That is what Jimmy the Greek said about one black coach. This is a man named Rush Limbaugh. Rush Limbaugh is a famous friend of Donald Trump. He's like the father of the conservative white racist movement that controls America right now. It really kind of started in its new rebirth under Rush Limbaugh, right? At this time in the NFL, when Donovan McNabb was quarterback, I think there might have been 2 black quarterbacks in the NFL. I think there was 2 of them. It might have been one of them. Ephraim can look it up. Donovan McNabb might have been the only black starting quarterback in the NFL. There were no other ones. It was Donovan McNabb. He was starting. If there was more, it was 1 more, 2 more. That's that. Out of 32 teams. But this is what Rush Limbaugh said. Now, so you can understand at this time, Donovan McNabb was winning everything. He owned all of the statistics. He owned everything. He was the winningest quarterback at his day at this time. And he was about the only black quarterback who was starting in the NFL. And this is what Rush Limbaugh said. Go ahead.
The sum total of what you're all saying is that Donovan McNabb is regressing. He's going backwards. And I'm sorry to say this, I don't think he's been that good from the get-go. I think what we've had here is a little social concern in the NFL. I think the media has been very desirous that a black quarterback do well. We're interested in black coaches and black quarterbacks doing well. I think there was a little hope invested in McNabb, and he got a lot of credit for the performance of this team that he really didn't deserve. The defense carried this team.
But Rush, somebody went to those championship games. Somebody went to those Pro Bowls. Somebody made those plays that I saw running down the field, doing it with his legs, doing it with his arm. He has been a very effective quarterback for this football team over the last 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, but
different than what we see right. And they didn't have any more talent then.
Oh, yeah,
than
they did on
now.
defense. On defense.
Stop right there. Stop right there. Do you see the Judite right there? The Judite is like, listen, somebody went to the Pro Bowls. Somebody threw those passes. Somebody ran down the field. You can't say we just want him to succeed, or else how's he making the Pro Bowl every goddamn year? This black man, this brother right here, does not understand. Black success causes white anger. It causes their anger. And we don't realize it because we're so happy to have success. We're so happy to succeed that we don't understand. Boy, oh boy, if we succeed, white people are going to be so angry about the smallest success that we have. Success that really doesn't even matter to us. 10% of every lawyer, of all the lawyers in America, are black and Hispanic. Both. 10%. You put them both together, that's 10% of all the lawyers in America. All the CEOs, about 3%, 5%. That 5% is driving white people insane. They cannot stand it. It is aching their bones every night. Let me show you some more video. Go ahead.
This is just an image, sir, of Darrell Hill, the brother, the first black football player in the ACC.
This is Darrell Hill. Darrell Hill is the first black man to play football in a white college school. He had to encounter death threats that you cannot believe. Everyone wanted to kill him. They hated him. He pushed it forward and he got success. He was the only one. Do you understand me? There were no other black football players. None. He was one. This one football player caused riots at college universities. One black man. This is something I've went to General Yohana about many times. You know what I found out something about white people, which I don't understand? White people are sore winners. I can understand being a sore loser. How are you a sore winner? You're winning. We only have one black football player at a college, at a white college. It's just one man. You want to kill him? You're going to put a noose in his locker? You're going to burn down his house? He's one man. You're winning. We're losing. We're not winning. We only have one black man that plays at a white college. Brother, white people have the strongest sense of Schadenfreude. White people don't just need you to not succeed. They need to know you're doing bad. They need to know you're suffering, or else they're unhappy. Donald Trump fulfills the white sense of Schadenfreude, the pleasure that they get from other people's pain. One black man on a football field, they burned down his house and threatened to kill his wife. One. Let's go to basketball. Now, everyone looks at the black quarterback like, you know, because they're just started. Black quarterbacks didn't exist until the 80s. Until the 80s in the NFL, there were no black quarterbacks. Do you know there was a time when there were no black basketball players? None. They did a movie about it called Glory Road. It is the first time that a white college allowed black people to play on the team. How many of them is it? 1, 2, 3. 4. 5. 5 black people joined one white basketball team. Now, do you understand what that means? How many college basketball teams are there on your bracket when you play college basketball? Hundreds? Am I right, Ephraim?
It's about 68, I think.
Yes, 68. When you do your bracket for March Madness, when you're trying to lose all that money on your March Madness gambling, there's about 68 teams that make it to competing for the national championship. There was 5 black people on one team. These 5 black people had to run for their lives every goddamn day. They tried to kill them every day for playing basketball. White people, you're sore winners. You're mad about the Kendrick Lamar halftime show. You own the NFL. You own America. You own the ball, the field, the stadium. You own the team. You own all the teams. What made you so upset because some little Negro boy said a rap in the halftime of the game? Why did you even care? Who did the halftime show when you own the entire sport? You own the ball, the teams. Everyone works for you. Is there never enough for you? White people, do you have to have every minute of every day to glorify you? Play the video. This is all over the internet. White people saying, we need to have Leonard Skinner at next year's halftime show. We need Willie Nelson. Go ahead and play.
I was playing it on mute for you, sir.
No problem. We need Willie Nelson. We need Leonard Skinner and death metal Van Halen. I think you already have those. I think you have everything. How much is enough? Is there never enough for you? How little can we be seen for you to feel in charge, for you to feel like you're not threatened? You're threatened by even the visualization of Black people, of Hispanics. Hispanics come over here, work in the fields, and stand outside of Home Depot. You are angry at Hispanics for seeing them, because you see them, because they're visible. This is not subjective. This is objective. White people hate you because you are not just a vessel for an owner to be glorified. They want you to be a horse in horse racing. They want you to be the dog in dog racing. And if you could be like, what's that man who integrated baseball? What's his name?
Listen, sir.
The brother,
Jackie
Robinson. That's why white people love Jackie Robinson, because Jackie Robinson was like a horse that was a racehorse. He was just the New York Yankees. He didn't have a personality. He didn't have an agenda. He had no wants and no desires. He was simply a tool of the owner of the Yankees. Then white people can accept you. But if you have an opinion, if you have feelings of your own, God forbid if you would dare to think you were equal to white people, then they don't want to see you or hear from you at all. White people hate the halftime show because Black people were seen, because they turned their TV on and saw you. Give me some more. Give me the Elon Musk. Because of this hatred of Blacks and Hispanics, that's why Donald Trump was chosen to be president of the United States. That's why he's president. Donald Trump is not president because he's a successful businessman, because Donald Trump is the worst businessman in history. Go to Atlantic City. I go to Atlantic City every year and see Trump hotels that are ruined. The Taj Mahal, Trump Towers that are big, giant flops, and someone else had to buy them because Donald Trump is the worst businessman in history. He's terrible. Now he wants to take the Gaza Strip and ruin that, like he ruined Atlantic City. He ruins everything. Donald Trump didn't win the White House because of his business acumen or because he was going to lower the price of eggs. The price of eggs has went up. Donald Trump became president because he promised white people that Black people would go back to being silent, that Hispanics would go back to being unseen. So now they have something called DOGE. DOGE is the Department of Government, government, blah, blah, blah. Who the hell knows? Anyway, Elon Musk is in charge of it, and he's supposed to go through every government agency to stop the waste in every government agency. So this week he had a press conference. Let's play his press conference. Go ahead.
So it's not just us just going partnership with the agency, and I checked recently with the president to make sure that
This is now let me tell you something. This is Elon Musk. Elon Musk, whenever he's on TV, he's trying to prove one thing and one thing only: that a rich white man can do whatever he wants. Whatever he wants to do, he can do it. Elon Musk made a Sieg Heil Hitler salute, did it on purpose to prove that he can do whatever he wants to do. And he was right, because he made a Hitler salute and everyone said he was just giving his heart to everyone. Elon Musk did a press conference and let his little son, this little bastard, come on the TV. Who cares? He's in there with the president of the United States in the Oval Office in a press conference. His little devil runs through the press conference and then curses at everyone. His son said, "Shut the fuck up." Right. That's what his son said. Good. His son said that. I'm going to play the video. Go back, play the first one, and then play this one. and then watch read what's on the screen. You can see what his son said. Go ahead.
So it's not just us just going partnership with the agency. And I checked briefly with the president to make sure that this.
Shut your mouth. Shut your mouth. He brings his son. Can you imagine how many nannies Elon Musk has? Elon Musk did not need to let his son come into the Oval Office. He did it on purpose because he wanted to show you, I can do whatever I want to do. Come on, little Damien Thorne. Come on and jump on top of the president's desk. Tell everybody to shut the fuck up. We're rich. No one can stop us. Play the other video.
If they're going down the grocery aisle and the prices from one year to the next are the same, and their mortgage go over debt payments.
The little bastard said, "Shut your fucking mouth," and nobody reached out and whooped his ass, which is what should have happened. He should have had his little ass whooped right there in the White House. He should have been beat right there. But he is rich. He's a rich white boy. So he goes and tells the president of the United States, shut your fucking mouth. He tells the reporters, who are grown people who have been to Harvard and Yale and earned enough accreditation to be able to be White House correspondents, and a 3-year-old tells them, shut your fucking mouth. Elon Musk is always trying to prove he can do whatever he wants to do. His son can do whatever he wants to do. You're not going to complain because Elon Musk makes you feel like he is destroying black people. He's destroying the Mexicans. Let me explain to you what Elon Musk is doing in the White House to go back to prove what was happening at the Super Bowl halftime show. Elon Musk recently said he's uncovered so much bad spending. He uncovered $20 million that went to condoms in Gaza. He said $50 million went to condoms in Gaza. And of course, everybody said, that is so much misspending. That's so bad. Let me ask you a question. Do you think $50 million is a lot of money to America? You see, you're stupid. You're a dummy. You think about money like you're balancing your checkbook. Yeah. Like you're sitting at your dinner table saying, that's a lot of money. In actuality, he lied. It was $20 million that they gave to Africa for condoms. $20 million. Do you think $20 million is a lot of money to give to Africa? Let me give you the alternative. Give me the video about Africa and AIDS.
It's like, sir, it's a screenshot. This number right here.
The United States has spent over $120 billion on the global AIDS response since 2003 through the President's emergency plan for AIDS relief. This is the largest amount of money ever by a country to address a single disease. Do you know why the government in America gave Africa $20 million in condoms? It's to not give them $120 billion in help for AIDS relief. America has the money. They could spend $1 billion on condoms. It wouldn't affect anything. Now, let me give you the real number. Here's the real number. There's billions of dollars America is giving to the Israelis. Billions of dollars America is giving to the Ukrainians. Billions of dollars America is giving to Africa. Billions of dollars America is giving to Europe. Billions of dollars America is giving to the Asian continents. Billions of dollars everywhere being given out to America. Now, Ephraim, tell me how much of the American budget is being spent on foreign aid in total. In total, Ephraim. Do you have it?
So we have the Brookings Institute.
Now, this is the Brookings Institute. It is the most prestigious accounting institute on the planet that does the accounting for America. Read that top part if you don't mind, please.
In fact, at $39.2 billion for fiscal year 2019, foreign assistance is less than 1% of the federal budget.
How much?
Less than 1%.
How much?
Less than 1%.
Let me tell you something about America. They have it. They have the money. America could spend $1 billion on condoms. They would be saving money. Because when all those Africans get AIDS, they're going to spend $120 billion. So it just makes sense to spend $1 billion on condoms so that those Africans don't get AIDS. America has the money. America right now is refusing to give reparations to black people. Why? Because they don't have the money? I think they do have the money. I think they have the money for everything. Having any government agency that goes into America and tries to sort out how they're misspending money, that's a lie. What Elon Musk is actually doing is trying to take money from AIDS and put it in his own pocket. Take money from condoms and put it in his own pocket. Take money from helping people across the world and put it in his own pocket. Everyone knows it and no one cares. Why don't they care? Because Trump and Elon Musk support the belief that white people should not be seen. I'm sorry, that black people should not be seen, and you should only see white people. You should only see Hispanics. That is why Donald Trump won the White House. That's the real reason that white people are angry about the halftime show. Give me some other people that did a halftime show in America. Do you have that, Ephraim?
Khan.
2000 other people.
2005, it was Paul McCartney.
Oh my goodness! How'd y'all feel, black people, Hispanics, when Paul McCartney was doing the halftime show? Did you think you could complain and change the halftime show? Huh? Did you think that you could do anything about dry ass Paul McCartney doing a halftime show? Black people didn't think anything about it. They just suffered it. They just went to the kitchen and got some chicken wings until the halftime show was over. White people out there, if you hated black people at the halftime show, why didn't you just go into the kitchen and make some goddamn chicken wings? Why didn't you just go into the kitchen, make some chicken wings, and then come back out and watch the game? Do you have to change the government because you don't like the halftime show? Do you have to like everything? White people, do you have to be pleased every minute of the day? Does everything have to go your way? A lot of people see things they don't like. They just deal with it. White people, you can't deal with even 30 minutes of you not liking something. Give me someone else that did a halftime show, Ephraim.
In 2008, they had Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers.
Who in the hell is that? I don't know who that is. Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. Black people, when Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers were doing the NFL halftime show, you went in the kitchen and you got more drinks. You went and ordered more pizza. You talked on the phone to somebody. You didn't think that you could complain and change the halftime show. White people are so entitled to everything that if they don't like something, the government will change. They will change the government. They will change the government because they don't like 30 minutes out of their day. Who else performed at the halftime show?
In 2010, sir, The Who.
Who in the hell is that? The who? Who? White people, listen, it must be just something to be white, because you believe that you're the surprise guest at every party. You're the number one guest at every party. And when you have to see black people, something is wrong with America. When you have to see Hispanics, something is wrong with America. Let me tell you why. Give me Obadiah, last precept. Give me Obadiah. If the great gatherers would have stole, would they not have had enough? White people, you should enjoy the Super Bowl every year. You should make sure that there is the whitest performer at the Super Bowl. You should make sure that there are no black or Hispanic quarterbacks. You should make sure that the teams are as white as you can make them, because there is a time coming. There is a time coming when you will no longer be able to glorify yourself. There's a time coming when the world will not be set up simply to please you or to make you come or to make you feel happy. There's a time coming when blacks and Hispanics will be the only thing that is glorified on this planet Earth. You should enjoy your time. You should enjoy your time. And you might be able to change the White House. You might be able to change the NFL's practices on kneeling. You might be able to stop the NFL from putting in racism. You know, this year, Ephraim, at last year's Super Bowl, in the end zone, there was a sign that said "in racism." Donald Trump forbid them from having that sign in the end zone because you can't support ending racism right now. Racism is the chosen government of America. So the NFL chose to no longer put ending racism in the end zone. Show me that from last year. From last year, that was in the end zone. Donald Trump said they're not allowed to do that anymore. So they stopped. White people continue to do that. Continue to glorify yourself because it is coming to an end. It's coming to an end. And there's no president or military or drone that can change the new government that's about to rule this world. You see that? That's what it said last year. In racism. Donald Trump said, we're pro-racism. Get rid of that. And that was not in the end zone this year. I understand. You have to please the people who believe in racism. That's okay. I'm fine with that. That's not a big deal. However, the kingdom of heaven is at hand. The kingdom of heaven is at hand. And the kingdom of heaven is a world governed by righteous men who are blacks and Hispanics, by righteous women who are better than your women. That time is coming and it can't be stopped. Give me Obadiah for thy violence against thy brother Jacob. Give me that, and then I'm ending the class.
Karakan, Obadiah, chapter 1, verse 10. For thy violence against thy...
Shasha Magun, he gave me an excellent precept. I'm going to go with Shasha Magun's this is Kwabalamath. This is Kwabalamath. Let me go with General Kwabalamath's precept instead. Give me Isaiah 14 and 12.
Karakan, sir.
While the brother pulls that, you want to see some of the meltdown they were having on Twitter, sir?
Please, please.
And as you said, you well noticed this. They didn't even blitz. They didn't blitz one time, and they still controlled the line of scrimmage. But Donald Trump was a huge hit there last night. First president ever to go to a Super Bowl. Amazing feat there. But as you said, the loser also was the halftime show. That was god awful.
And that's
they
time.
hated that. Don't worry, Senator Leonard Skinner is coming back. You're gonna have Sweet Home Alabama. That's coming. It's coming. Don't worry. Just sit back and wait. Go ahead, Ephraim.
Isaiah chapter 14, verse 12. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning?
You see, this precept is about the kingdom of heaven. It's about the kind of songs that one day we will sing when we control the planet Earth. White people, they don't want black quarterbacks. They don't want black coaches. They don't want black halftime shows because they know that one day everything will be controlled by blacks and Hispanics. And every time they see black people and Hispanics making any achievement, it makes them wonder, is this going to be the beginning of the end? Is this how black people will take over? They'll start off with one black quarterback. Will they take all the quarterback jobs? Will they take all the coaching jobs? Will they take all the government jobs? Even one person that works in the government who's black or Hispanic, you scare white people. White people fear that one black or Hispanic getting an opportunity might mean that this is the beginning of their fall. White people, it is. It is the beginning. And there's nothing that you can do to stop it. One day we will all say, how are you fallen from heaven, O Lucifer? You used to be on top. You used to be the quarterback, the coach, the NFL, the halftime performer. You used to be the president, the governor. You used to be the CEO. You used to be the supervisor. You used to run the world. Now you have fallen. How did it happen? How'd you fall, O Lucifer? Lucifer, the term Lucifer means son of the morning, meaning it's a son, a boy who always has the sun shining on him. Always. He never sees darkness. He never has a bad day. The white man is Lucifer. Our oppressor is Lucifer, and he never sees the clouds above his head. He always has a good day. If his day is bad, if he doesn't like something, he wonders what happened to the world, that I didn't get pleased today, that I didn't get praised today. Oh, son, oh, Lucifer, son of the morning, how did you fall from heaven? Keep reading.
Karakan, how art thou cut down to the ground?
How did you get cut down to the ground? At one time, we all worshiped you. We thought you were God. We thought you were Jesus Christ. We thought you were the coaches, the quarterbacks, and the halftime show. What happened to you? What happened to you? Look at you now, white people. Look at you now. That day is coming. And you can sign every law with your stupid pen and sign every executive order, and it will not stop God's justice. You see, our redemption, what's the word that black people want? They want reparations. Our reparations come from God. They don't come from you and your Congress and your Senate. Our reparations will come from God. And it's going to be a lot more than money. I pray you understand that. It's going to be a lot more than money. Keep going.
Karakan, which did weaken the nations.
You see, you made every nation weak. You destroyed Gaza. You destroyed the Ukraine. You destroyed Russia. You destroyed Japan. You destroyed Vietnam. You destroyed Europe. You destroy every nation. Every nation is destroyed by you. One day we're going to look at you and say, what happened to you? What happened to you? You used to be the man. Now you're just a man. Continue.
Verse 13. For thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven.
I will what?
Ascend into heaven.
That's what you said in your heart. You said, I will ascend into heaven. I will be God. I'll be worshiped. I will never have even a halftime show that doesn't glorify me. I'll never have a game played that doesn't make me feel better about myself. You thought the world would just worship you. I know you thought that. Keep thinking it. Keep thinking it. it will not stop God's reparations. It will not stop God's justice. One day, blacks and Hispanics will rule the world, and there will be no executive order that can stop that. Oro por tu entendimiento. ¿Lo entiendes? All right, with that said, clap it up. Let's pass the class. Let's get it on. Pass the class over to New York. Who's taking the water? The water, Milwaukee. Give Milwaukee a hand. The water, Trinidad. The water, Florida. The water, Montreal. The water, Chi-Town. And the water headquarters in Jerusalem. Give them a hand. With that, who's taking the class?
Officer Lakumya Allah, sir.
Pass the class to Officer Lakumya Allah. You got it, warrior.
All right, clap it up for the class. All right, men of Israel, we're going to give one courtesy salute. Men of Israel, Imajim. Imajim Shabbat. Imajim. Barak. Yahweh Shem Yahweh. All right. Saw turn to the sisters. Men of Israel, Imajim, Imajim Shabbat, Imajim, Barak, Yahweh Shemar, Yajim Matab, class dismissed.
All right, Akim. Safe.